About 9 months ago, I made a video on something that vegan teacher had said about a small child. Recently, about 13 days ago, that vegan teacher had actually doubled down on what she had said. At this point, I would just like to get right into her doubling down and addressing the current situation.
Talk about that video I did, the one that got banned. Alright? I tell you the truth about what happened, and hopefully you'll understand.
I have a hard time believing absolutely anybody will ever understand the take that you had made, and honestly, it's insane to think that there are people who do, and people who have actually defended you for this take.
Now what happens if it's your sister who is taking care of your baby, and you are vegan? Try to picture it. I know most of you can't picture that, but just imagine that for a moment. You are vegan, and you have this cute baby who's about 1.5 years old, and you're vegan, and your sister is babysitting. So your sister decides that she thinks it would be really funny to make a video and put it on the internet of her niece eating the flesh of a dead animal.
Yes, if I was vegan and I had specifically told a babysitter not to feed my child meat, I would be pretty pissed too. That is understandable. That is reasonable to say. But what isn't reasonable to say is that giving a vegan baby meat and assaulting that baby is the exact same thing.
She thought that would be really funny. And actually, millions of people pressed on that and thought it was hilarious. Why? Because vegan phobia is real. Bullying vegans is a real thing that people do. It's pretty disgusting.
Before I say anything, you should not bully people for being vegan. That's fucked up. But that video was a joke. That baby was most likely not vegan. And if that baby was supposed to be vegan, then yeah, the person recording is kind of an asshole. For about the next minute, she goes on a rant about the egg, meat, and dairy industry, but she takes it from the mother's perspective, but it's pretty long, and honestly, I'm just going to skip to the next talking point that I have.
This vegan mom would have been so proud that she's raising this daughter, and she will be able to tell her daughter at the age of 18, "Sweetie, I did my part. I helped you maintain your vegan virginity." Now listen to the word. I'm using the word virginity in the sense that she has never had any dead animals or their secretions enter her body. Her mother protected her from that. Her mother didn't deceive her. Her mother didn't put corpses on spoons and pretend it was peas or carrots or oats.
I feel like there's a better word that you could use right now, especially after comparing feeding a baby meat to actual assault. But I do understand what you mean here, although it does sound a little weird.
See, what creative people do when they're making videos is they use analogies like that. And that's what I said, is I said we had no right, nobody ever has a right, to take away a baby's vegan virginity. Not a parent, definitely not an aunt.
Yes, anybody with an IQ over room temperature understands your analogy. However, to use an analogy like that, especially on a toddler, is super fucked up, and we should all be able to recognize that.
What did I do wrong exactly to warrant my video getting banned? Absolutely nothing. I stood up for the victim.
Actually, you compared somebody giving a baby meat to sexually assaulting a child.
Now think about it. If this happens in a sexual way, if some disgusting pervert ever did that to a baby and stuck something else into her mouth covered in a sweet syrup, every single one of you would be disgusted.
Yes, because every single one of us, except for you, can somehow recognize the difference between giving a baby meat and a fucking crime. It's insane to think that you don't see the issue with that take. How do you not recognize that there is a very clear difference between a pervert sexually assaulting a child and somebody giving a baby meat? There is a huge difference.
Every single one of you who is smart enough to have known what I was trying to say in that video, which is that sexual assault is wrong, betrayal is wrong, feeding a vegan baby non-vegan foods is wrong. Every single one of you who saw that I put that video out in good faith remained silent.
Anybody with a working brain understands that all three of those are very wrong. However, anybody with more than 2 brain cells understands that they are wrong on very different levels.
Let's talk a minute about the extremely cruel people who took my video and tried to twist it around, deliberately cutting out segments of it to make it seem like I was saying something that I wasn't.
Literally nobody had to take out any segment to any of that video to make it sound like you were saying something bad, because you were saying something bad. You're acting like you're being demonized by people editing your video when in all reality, the only thing making you sound bad is your... For the rest of the video, she pretty much just shames people that aren't vegan and talks about the cruelty in the meat and dairy industry. There's not really a lot of talking points in there. So that was a fucking insane situation to talk about. I still can't believe that she had doubled down on that. That was a terrible take and an even worse response.